Hey everyone, this is Branson from the Nickel Blitz podcast, and I'm going to be going through some different trades you could make. I'm going to look at some of the most popular trades made around the league today and throughout this week, and we're just going to kind of give my grade on them and just see kind of where we stand. This is just supplementary material for the main podcast where maybe I wanted to cover more fantasy stuff, just kind of a weekly thing. Maybe you can expect some extra videos here and there to satiate your fantasy needs. And we're just going to go right into it, okay? I want to look at popular trades, okay? Who are people moving around? And we're going to see if maybe you want to make those trades, or if maybe people are getting too antsy, maybe wanting to sell someone when they're too low. And as a typical rule, you don't want to sell low if you can manage it. Sometimes there are instances, of course, where your team needs a win. Let's say you're starting 0-4, 1-3. You feel like I could use a win now, and you need production now. Then maybe a sell low or something like that could work. So we're going to go right into it. Now, the number one unpopular trades, and by the way, we're using fantasysp.com. They are not a sponsor of the Nicholas podcast. This is just a site I use for my own teams, and I just kind of like perusing through here and just looking around. It's quite interesting to see just all of these crazy trades. Some of them are ill-advised, but Antonio Gibson for Saquon Barkley. So I'm just going to open this up right away. And of course the website gives sort of a grade. This is great to send to your friends if you want to convince them that maybe a trade is more fair than it really is. Mind trick some people. I don't understand this trade at all. If you're an Antonio Gibson owner, I think you're holding, unless you're getting something much better. Of course, Saquon Barkley is much better. Barkley will just keep getting more touches. I know he is injury prone, but so is CMC. This is a guy that you want on your team. I don't think you can overspend for him necessarily. He is just a top tier running back. He doesn't quite make our top trade values, or excuse me, the fantasysp.com's top trade values on the marketplace, but he is nonetheless up there. He's got to be a top 10 running back. I mean, this guy is fantastic. This trade does not make any sense. I cannot advise this. If you're the person, if you're the owner of Barkley, don't do this. Robert Woods for Allen Robertson. Excuse me. This is interesting. Robert Woods, bad start on the year for sure. But this is a high-powered offense. This is a much better offense than Chicago, and I don't mind this trade. I think this could go either way. Robert Woods owners should be freaking out a little bit. Through 4 weeks, he has not been great. Not been what we expected as a veteran wide receiver in a very potent offense. Cooper Kupp's definitely the alpha, and Stafford seems to love the connection he has with him. This is not a terrible trade. Do they stick with Justin Fields, or do they go with Andy Dalton? That's a big question. I don't know if it makes much of a difference in terms of Allen Robinson, excuse me. Robert Woods, I really like here. I think I'm keeping Robert Woods. I'm stashing him. I don't think he's a start now player, but I think he will improve as the season goes on. This trade, not so bad. I think I'm more on the Robert Woods side of this one, and so is fantasysp.com in this instance. Tyree Kill for Derrick Henry. I think this is interesting. Actually, let me go ahead and make this a different tab. That'll be better. I think this is an interesting trade for sure. This is not quite working here, is it? There we go. I was duplicating. Okay. Depends what you want. I think Tyree Kill's gonna have the bigger days. I know we had that huge week 2 from Derrick Henry. Massive week 2. I believe that was his week 2, and I will fact check that. But while I'm talking, Tyree Kill, he's had 2 down games of fewer than 5 fantasy points. He's had 2 other games where he's approaching 30. He's a big play guy. I really do like him. He's definitely a wide receiver 1. He's a must start every week. So is Derrick Henry, of course. This is just depending on what you want. Derrick Henry's going to give you the floor every single week. He's not going to. He has no injury problems. Dude is just a tank. I like Derrick Henry a lot. I think I'm more of a running back guy myself. If you're someone who loves that big play potential, if you have the floor already in a couple of other places, I think Tyree Kill is, of course, always a great add. I don't think this is a win-lose for either side. This is quite close. Again, Tyree Kill is going to get you those big play days. Derrick Henry is going to be somewhere in the middle, high-end RB1, obviously. He might have a couple days under 10 fantasy points. I just can't see it with this Titans offense. They love to run the football. After they figured out after week 1, they just keep handing this man the ball. Good things will happen. He's also being involved in the pass game, which is definitely a first. And that's fantastic for Derrick Henry owners. Derrick Henry owner, I think you want to ask for a little bit more. Tyree Kill, maybe another piece for Derrick Henry. But I can't see giving up Derrick Henry here. I think I wouldn't do this trade if I was either owner. I think I just like what I have here. Of course, Tyree Kill at nearly a 30 wide receiver rating on the FantasySP.com website. Just fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't have Kamara quite this high as of right now. Maybe not even Travis Kelce this high. Just looking at right over here, these top trade values. If you love me some DJ Moore, these are all guys that you should target, you do want on your team. You don't want to overspend for Patrick Mahomes or Kyler Murray. Just keep that in mind. Unless you're in a 2-quarterback league, then maybe that could be worth for you. That's something you have to look at. We're going to look at another top trade here. Alvin Kamara for Davonte Adams. I'm going to close these other ones. Now, this is an interesting trade for sure. They have it just about dead even. Again, depending on what you want, Adams a favorite target of Rodgers, and I really love Adams' production currently. There's some question marks with Kamara. He's not being involved in the passing game quite so much this season. I think Winston's calling his own number at the goal line. He's getting some more runs too, more so than, of course, Drew Brees. I think I like Davonte Adams a little bit better here, in fact. It depends where you're waterlogged at. If you're waterlogged, of course, at the running back position, this could be an interesting trade for you if you have just too many starting receivers. Very few of us are blessed to be waterlogged at the running back position, so I would say this is a base on need trade, but I personally like Adams here. Let's see, Calvin Ridley for Jonathan Taylor. Now this is interesting. Now I think Calvin Ridley on the year will improve, will be of higher value than Jonathan Taylor. But if you're a Calvin Ridley owner, you likely drafted him in the first couple of rounds with your first couple picks. You expected more out of him. Maybe you're in the hole a little bit. You've lost a couple games. Okay, you want to take a breath and you want to go get someone who's hot now. Jonathan Taylor's pretty hot right now. He looks okay. He gets a lot of red zone touches. He's up there on the high end of red zone touches for a running back. You don't have to worry about Nyheim Hines at all. This guy, Taylor, is the alpha of this team, but I think Hines will eventually begin to poach some more possessions and some more targets and attempts from him. I like Calvin Ridley in the long run, even though I know Ridley owners that might be hard to stomach. You've started him 4 times and you've been disappointed relative to where you drafted him. In fact, I see Calvin Ridley as a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside in the long run. He's a great player. I think you can feel fine starting him every week. Problem, definitely, most certainly, okay, double negative. The problem does come with the win now situation. Jonathan Taylor's a win now player, and maybe you can ride a couple wins and then sell Jonathan Taylor high. That could be your strategy going forward. I don't think this is another trade based on need. I like this trade quite a bit. I don't think either team just outright loses the trade. Gonna go through a couple more here. Nick Chubb for Davonte Adams, very briefly. So we covered Davonte Adams already. I don't know how much I agree with that assessment here. I think I'm just a running back guy, so you might have to know that about me going forward. I think I just value running backs too high. I think this is close to even. I can definitely see why Davonte Adams has the higher upside and the higher per game, the higher game chance, or excuse me, the higher chance in a game to really get you that 25 to 30 points you're looking for. Nick Chubb does split a little bit of time with Hunt. I think you can start Hunt or Chubb, not interchangeably, but if you have one or the other, you can start one or the other. But I do like Chubb overall. I'm more of I play for the floor typically. It's to get that floor at each position and then hope for some big plays. This is more of a big play guy. He is going to give you the floor though, so maybe Davonte Adams is the better one. This is based on need again. So not too egregious of trades here. And the date currently, this is the 6th of October, and we're about 1 a.m. here. But we'll look at a couple more. Zack Moss or Myles Gaskin. Now, I think Myles Gaskin is almost a drop target, and that's unfortunate. I have a lot of respect for the Dolphins coach. I just don't think they're using him properly. They're giving far too many touches to their backups. It's just how it is. You can stash him if you can handle having a spot on your lineup taken up by Myles Gaskin for a while, and you just are low at running back. You can stash him. Maybe they change their mind and are able to use him more going forward. Just have to see. And we'll talk a little bit about Zack Moss. They're splitting time. I think Zack Moss is the alpha of this duo, of he and Singletary. You can start either of them in good matchups. This offense is fantastic. Their defense is fantastic. They're going to be on the field a lot. They're going to get a lot of wins. They're going to score touchdowns. This is a great trade for this side, of course, with the 15 to 11. I would even put this further up. Might even give him a up to 17 value. In Myles Gaskin, I just don't see him having any value whatsoever on the trade market, on the market. So, not sure what this trade exactly is. I like Zack Moss here. Jonathan Taylor, Chris Carson. Interesting trade. Oh boy. They're kind of interchangeable in my eyes. Game script wise for the Seahawks, I'm just not so familiar with them that I'm always comfortable starting Chris Carson in every single matchup. But I like both these players here. I don't think you can go wrong. I think I might have to give the edge to Chris Carson in the long run. We just don't know the status of the backfield in Indianapolis. We don't know the status of Wentz. Can he stay healthy? Is he back this week or not? We'll just have to see. I like Chris Carson personally. This is more of a personal preference thing. We're seeing a lot of that on the popular trades area. A lot of good trades. I think really just the one bad trade, the Antonio Gibson, Saquon Barkley trade. I just do not understand. Maybe even the Woods for Allen Robinson. Just interesting. I guess you're selling high on Allen here. You're buying low on Woods. Just not quite sure there. James Robinson, Calvin Ridley. Okay, a running back or a receiver. Always kind of an interesting dynamic. Interesting balance you have to play. You have to strike here. This Jacksonville team's gonna have to run a lot. This Falcons team is just very, very bad, and it's hard to stomach Calvin Ridley. If you can get this trade as the Calvin Ridley owner, I think you're happy with James Robinson. You can plug him in every single week. I think the Jaguars will improve. This is a fine trade. It depends on your needs. If you're 0-4, 1-3 over here on the Calvin Ridley side, I can see making this trade just fine. We'll do two more here. Najee Harris or Stefan Diggs. Now this is interesting. So Najee Harris, of course. This Steelers team is not looking good through 4 weeks, okay? They're not. But when Ben Roethlisberger is in peril, and he's been in peril quite often, he's been able to dump it off to Najee Harris. I like him a lot. I like Stefan Diggs too, but this offense is highly powered. It's spreading the ball around quite a bit. Defenses will key in on Stefan Diggs. They They won't key in so much on Knox. They won't key in so much on Beasley or Manuel Sanders. So I enjoy a Najee Harris trade here. I'm fine with this. I like this trade quite a bit. Both sides can get something out of this if this is the situation you're in. You might have to add a little bit on the Diggs side, maybe push it up a bit, and see if you can make something match on a two-man trade here. But really love Najee Harris here. He's getting plenty of looks. If you're in a PPR league, of course Najee Harris is going to be hotly contested. You might not be able to make that trade. In fact, okay, Stefan Diggs or DeAndre Hopkins. Well, I would have to go with Diggs also, according to FantasySP.com. I like Diggs here. DeAndre Hopkins is obviously fantastic. This offense spreads the ball around a lot. Kyler Murray poaches quite a few touchdowns on the ground. He has 3 rushing touchdowns through 4 weeks. All things that could have gone to a receiver were 2. Stefan Diggs, I think the year will only get better for him, is the hope. If he can stay healthy, stay in the game just long enough to really see that usage. I like him quite a bit here. Now, okay, I know I promised 2 more, but this is the last one for sure. This caught my eye, to say the least. Cordero Patterson or Kareem Hunt. Don't buy high on players. It can be difficult to resist that urge. Cordero Patterson obviously will not have another week like this. If he does, he won't have another 2 or 3 weeks like this to make him worth selling Kareem Hunt. I can see why this is closer than maybe your first impression would be, but I do personally love Kareem Hunt. He's going to have those days where he is the guy instead of Chubb. That's the thing. Cordero Patterson is not going to have a day like Chubb or Kareem Hunt have at a higher rate than Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb have them. I like Kareem Hunt here much better. If you're a win now, there's no real... I can't see a way to make this trade work 1-for-1. You have to add some extra stuff. Thank you all for joining me looking at these fantasy prospects, some of the popular trades on FantasySP.com. It's just kind of interesting to see what people are doing around the league. Maybe this will give you some ideas. Maybe you're about to make a trade and you'll second guess by watching this video. And I'm going to thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Nickel Blitz podcast is out every single Tuesday. Sometimes those may vary depending on our schedules, but we try to get them out every Tuesday. Thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next week.